Welcome to this week's End of Days Update, coming to you from Tulsa, Oklahoma. We had such a great time last week in Lincoln, California. Wonderful people, wonderful church. Hey, if you're in the Amarillo area, we'll be at Arena of Life Church this weekend. 2 Sunday morning services and a Sunday night service. We'll be getting into the Word and how close we are to the coming of the Lord. It's so cool. So if you're joining us, we get into this every single week, how close we are to the coming of the Lord. You know, the rapture is signless, but the second coming has tons of signs. So wow, when you're seeing all the players and all the events that were prophesied about the second coming literally unfolding right in front of your eyes, we know that we don't have a lot of time left. And literally, when you see the nations for the Ezekiel 38 war, there's several of them did stuff this last week that just told me, man, they are getting ready for that battle. So how blessed are we to be living when all this is coming to pass right in front of our eyes? I hear people say, I wish we could have lived in Bible days. You are living in Bible days. The verse is coming to pass right in front of our eyes every week. Pretty amazing. Remember when Jesus went into Gadara, the madman of Gadara was possessed, and the demons started screaming out, have you come to torment us before the time? And it's interesting, they knew Jesus was on a schedule, but he was early. So if demons can know the schedule, how much more the church? So we get into this because it's a hustle mentality. You see the finish line, you run faster, not slower. So it's not an escape theology, it's a go for it theology. So we don't fit church into our life, it is our life. So let's look at what's happened. Man, a lot of things happen. I'm going to try to make sure I don't miss things. Every single week I think I miss a thing or two, but first of all, in Israel, the horrible thing was you had 6 hostages that got killed. And then you had the Philadelphia corridor that Israel says we have to keep, and the tunnels that are there. I watched Benjamin Netanyahu earlier today on Wednesday. Absolutely wonderful press conference. He was showing how we're not going to go easy on Hamas after they killed our people. We're going to go harder on them. And he even showed how systematically for every ceasefire, the first one was presented to Hamas in April, actually right before that in March, then one in April, then one in August, one in June, one in August, right just a few weeks ago. Each one of them, even our own Secretary of State, Blinken, said Israel's being extremely kind, extremely generous to Hamas, and Hamas turned them down, every single one of them. So you're dealing with people that don't really want to negotiate with you. They want to kill your citizens. So I was intrigued to see how Netanyahu was fired on by the crazy reporters that asked the most stupid questions I've ever heard in all my life. So anyway, bizarre. Because what's happening is, yesterday, you have another increase in rockets coming from Hezbollah in the northern part of Israel. I mean, you got so many northern Israelis that have been completely taken out of their homes for months, that hadn't been able to go back to their house because of all the missiles coming at them. Israel took out a big truck that was full of ammunition with missiles that were coming into Lebanon. Israel blew that up, took out a couple more sites that were holding weapons, took out more sites that people were all dressed in civilian clothes, but they're all soldiers trying to kill Israelis, trying to trick people. So you have all that happening, then you go global all of a sudden. You've got Turkey firing drones into northern northern Iraq. Then you have Turkey meeting with Egypt's President Sisi. There's look like it said there's a confirmation coming to where they'll have a stronger agreement for energy and for oil. Now, why is that a big deal? Egypt goes with Turkey and Iran and Russia to attack Israel in the Ezekiel 38 war. So you see, this is the first time in 12 years that Egypt's prime minister or president has gone to meet with Turkey. So Turkey's talking about even joining BRICS in the EU. They don't like how the EU is not supporting them financially, so he's trying to look for other areas and avenues. So you've got Turkey doing that. You've got Russia changing their threshold of a nuclear exchange on the West because of the West supplying Ukraine with missiles. So it is scary when they publicly say they're changing their parameters for when they need to use nuclear weapons. Last week I talked about the cities that they've been targeting for that. And you say, well, why do you get onto all that? That's all about war. No, what this is all about are the nations that are coming together, that the Bible told us they would come together right before the coming of the Lord. You had Kim Jong-un in North Korea oversee the launching of a new missile system, the 240 millimeter missile system, and it even showed how they'd shipped 12,000 rockets to Russia. Russia's got the land mass of so amazing, and you got North Korea having to send missiles over to Russia. So pretty remarkable what's happening right in front of our eyes. I think the amazing thing is all these nations, along with the Houthis in Yemen, firing at Israel, Gaza still firing at Israel, Hezbollah still firing at Israel, and then Iran speaks up this week and says, we're going to try to take a back seat. All of those countries are sponsored by Iran. So we are literally watching it play out. Now, you had a couple other radical things happen. You had an asteroid break up into pieces and come right across America. People in Tennessee and the Midwest could see a fireball And that's pretty radical when you've got asteroids breaking off of asteroids, which they're meteorites is what they technically are. NASA has changed their asteroid behavior thought pattern to where they were finding them a day or two after they came by, as opposed to having a warning. So there's a lot of heavenly stuff happening. You have over the Northern Lights in Iceland coming together with a volcanic explosion, and they said that was absolutely bizarre. So not necessarily signs in the heavens, but it is pretty amazing that happened. So a lot of things happening with asteroids. You've got floods in different nations that are stronger than ever before. You had 6 months worth of rain happen there, like in Bangladesh, like you had in Austria. Austria had in 1 hour a year's worth of rain. So just unusual things happening with nature. I like this, that there was a coin found, a stone coin found on the Temple Mount, and it was showing how it was tied to Hebrew 2,700 years ago. So it wasn't anything about the Palestinians, wasn't anything about Arabs, wasn't anything about anybody but Jews, Israel, Hebrew. And then on the Temple Mount, it looks like people are being able to pray now and fall prostrate on the Temple Mount and not get arrested. A few months ago when I was there, the rabbi that was with us, he was singing prayers, almost got us all arrested. And the moment we got off the edge of the Temple Mount, he laid flat down on the ground right in front of everybody and started to pray, because he was not allowed to pray there on the Temple Mount. Now they are praying on the Temple Mount, and they're laying out prostrate like that. So, boy, that is an indication to me that Jordan's going to start freaking out really soon. So there's a lot of little things here and there that are happening with the Temple Mount, happening with architecture. You had an architectural find being set up in Edmond, Oklahoma, of another piece of old stuff that was 2,700 years ago that was completely tied in the Hebrew. I love that these things are all coming to the light along with Israel saying its borders were like this. This is how weird it is. You have JetBlue changed their maps in their magazine on their airplanes to the West Bank and all of the Golan being Palestinian land, not Israeli land. Insane. Lucifer is doing things to where young people in colleges trying to protest so much more, getting ready for school, but their thought pattern is to protest for the Palestinians. People have no idea how satanic that is. So we're watching it unfold right before our eyes. We're about to see the King. So why do we get into all this? Because the Lord loves you. He wants to bless you, wants to strengthen you, wants to encourage you. He's not mad at you, not frustrated with you. He loves you. So let's get into all the signs as we can that show us how close we are. You got Israel made a nation. You got Jerusalem won back. You got the Hebrew language restored. You got the Ethiopian Jews brought back. You got the fertility of the land of Israel. You had the revival of the Roman Empire. You had fish show up in the Dead Sea. You had the Dead Sea turn blood red last year, where Sodom and Gomorrah was. When? On the Day of Atonement. You had foxes show up on the Temple Mount. You had the ritual baths around the Temple Mount fill up with water. First time in 2,000 years. You had the red heifers come. You had five cows from Texas get shipped over from America to Israel. They classified them as service animals. I thought that would be pretty crazy to walk down the middle of the airport with a cow. But they weren't, their ears weren't clipped because of COVID, so they're the first red heifers they have that had no marks like that. So now they started clipping them again. Pretty remarkable, because they have to be used between the year 2 and 3, and these cows are 2 to 3 years old. So man, you got animals in place. 172 different species of predatory birds started showing up in the land. You got the cleanup crew for the Ezekiel 38 war. You got the cleanup crew for the Battle of Armageddon. So you got fish in position, birds in position, foxes in position. You have Russia went into Crimea and the Ukraine. So all these adjustments are happening to get ready for the coming of the Lord. I really like the Temple Mount Institute in downtown in the old city of Israel. Remarkable how you can go from room to room. They have all the stuff ready for sacrifices. It just hits you right there that they are ready right now. Now, they've been having sacrifices on the edge of the Temple Mount, but they've been getting arrested every year. Well, they're about ready to have it more. And the drawings of the new temple, when you see the Shekinah glory coming through the windows, it's absolutely remarkable that Jesus is the brightness of the glory of God. What's going to happen is we're going to be caught up, we're going to be raptured, and that blindness is going to come off of Israel, and all of a sudden they'll see him as he is. And Jesus will be made manifest to all those that are in Israel. Wow, what a time when there's a shift from the church over to Israel right here as Jesus is just about to come back. So you have all those radical signs happening. Men will be lovers themselves. We have selfie sticks. But then you have signals. You went from signs to signals. You had blood red moons on Passover and Tabernacles. That's pretty radical that you'd have blood red moons on when he died for us, he's coming back. He's died for us, he's coming back. When's the last time you had 4 blood red moons on Passover and Tabernacles? 1967 when Jerusalem was won back. 1948 when Israel was made a nation. in 1492 at the Edict of Expulsion when the Jews were kicked out of Spain. Pretty amazing. God raised up Columbus to sail the ocean blue in 1492. Found a nation called America to be a safe harbor, a safe house for the Jews. So you have that. You have the Bethlehem star, Jupiter, Regulus, Venus coming together. That's radical. I mean, you have planets coming together, king planets, Jupiter, Regulus, Venus. And then you have the constellation was Virgo. Then it's here just last year you had this celestial event again. The constellation was Leo. He's the Lion of the tribe of Judah. So you got heavenly activity, you got earthly activity, you got the different things that the Bible said you'd see as signs, and the flawless signs. In our book, there's like 79. I remember the publishing house said, "Hey, we're fact checking you on all those." I said, "You think I can come up with all this on my own?" No. Jesus is coming so soon. Help your local church. Help your local pastor. Be involved. Be engaged. Talk to the King more than you've ever talked to the King. Walk with Him. Speak for Him. Demonstrate for Him. Let Jesus come to the forefront in all of your life. He is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, brightness of the glory of God, shepherd and the bishop of our souls. He's the lily of the valley, firstborn from the dead. We're about to see Him face to face. Wow, what a time. Jesus is just about to come back. We'll come back next Wednesday. We'll look at all the things that have happened around Israel. You'll probably see Turkey doing crazy things. You'll probably see Iran doing crazy things, and all these other nations that point to the King coming back. Have a blessed week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thanks for joining us today at the End of Days Update. If you'd like to be notified every time there's a new post, just go to the EDU at josephmorris.com and subscribe to receive email alerts. If these posts and updates have been a blessing to you, please consider making a one-time donation to help get the message out, or even becoming a monthly partner with Joseph Morris Ministries. Thanks again for tuning in to the EDU, and we'll see you next week.